How's it going, everybody? Hope everyone is doing well. My name is Jason, and in today's video, we're going to be previewing and predicting Week 20 of the 2023 CFL season, second to last week of the CFL season, so here we go. So we have a weird setup for the last couple of weeks of the CFL season this year, with only 3 games playing each week, so 3 teams on the bye this week, all 3 of them being East teams, Montreal, Ottawa, and Hamilton. And next week, it'll mostly be the Western teams that are on the bye. So some of these teams are playing their last game of the regular season this week. So starting us off Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern, we have the 5-11 Calgary Stampeders visiting the 12-5 BC Lions in a game that has a lot of playoff implications. Calgary, of course, battling for that third place in the West Division. The scenario is, if they win, Saskatchewan loses on Saturday, then Calgary clinches the last playoff spot in the West Division. If the opposite happens and Calgary loses and Saskatchewan beats Toronto on Saturday, then Saskatchewan clinches the playoffs. If they both lose, then it goes on to the final week of the regular season where Calgary plays Winnipeg. And then from a BC perspective, if they win this game, they still have a sliver of hope for first place in the West Division, although Winnipeg would have to lose their last 2 games to Edmonton and Calgary. So very much a lot on the line in this game. Hopefully it's a lot closer of a game than the last couple matchups we've seen between these 2 teams. And the players that I'm watching for in this one, quarterback Jake Maier for the Calgary Stampeders. Look, he's had a really tough season, but he has a chance to salvage it with a couple of really strong performances the last couple of games of the season. He has a chance to get his team right into the playoffs. If Calgary wins these last 2 games, regardless of what happens with Saskatchewan on Saturday, they're in the playoffs. So Jake Maier has a great opportunity in front of him to salvage his season, and I hope he has a good game in this one because it's been a rough year for him. For BC, it's running back Jaquan Hardy, who made his CFL debut last week in Hamilton. Didn't have a ton of yards or anything, but I thought he looked really good, made a couple of really nice plays, especially in the receiving game. So really excited to see what he contributes to this BC running game going forward, because that's been a weakness of that team all year long. Now, in terms of my pick for this game, I don't think it's necessarily going to be that close of a game because BC is going to be playing all of their starters. They still have something to play for with the first place in the West still technically possible. So they're going to try to put the pressure on Winnipeg to win those last couple of games. So I'm going to take BC to win this game in blowout fashion, 34-17, and put Calgary's playoff hopes on life support. Now moving over to Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, we have the 14-2 Toronto Argonauts visiting the 6-11 Saskatchewan Roughriders in a game that looks very lopsided on paper, but we don't know yet what kind of Toronto Argonauts squad is going to be sent to play in this game because it's on the road. They've generally, the last couple of weeks, they've been playing all their starters, but they have had those games at BMO Field. So let's see what contingent of Argos make their way to Saskatchewan for this game. It could play a major factor in this game. Now, in terms of the players I'm watching for in this game, defensive lineman Robbie Smith for the Toronto Argos. Again, don't know exactly if he's going to be playing in this one, but because he's more of a rotational guy, I think he's probably going to get, a start in this game. So I'm excited to see what he can do for the Argos in this game, pressuring against a very weak Riders offensive line. And then for Saskatchewan, it's simply quarterback Jake Dolegala, who's went on a skid the last part of the season here, along with the rest of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They've lost 6 games in a row. At the end of the day, Dolegala has to play better if they're going to win this game and keep their playoff hopes alive with a win in this game. Now, in terms of my prediction for this game, ultimately, despite the circumstances surrounding the players who are going to be playing or not playing for Toronto, I'm going to take them to win because I simply cannot trust Saskatchewan right now. I'm going to take Toronto to win 28-23 on the road and go on to 15-2 on the CFL season. Now moving on to the third and final game of the week at 7 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, we have the 4-13 Edmonton Elks visiting the 12-4 Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And again, Winnipeg may or may not have something to play for in this game. If BC wins and beats Calgary on Friday night, then Winnipeg will have to win in order to clinch first place in the West. They technically could win the last week of the season against Calgary, but I think they want to get a little bit of rest before the playoffs. So I think they're going to be playing all their starters if that is the case. this weekend. And for Edmonton, this is their last game of the season, so looking to finish strong. Very encouraging second half of the season for them, so really interested to see what effort they come out with in this game, because the last time they played Winnipeg, they had a 22-0 lead in the first half and ultimately ended up blowing that to Drew Brown, who came in for an injured Zach Collaros. Now, in terms of the players I'm watching for in this game, wide receiver Emmanuel Arsenault for the Edmonton Elks. This is a guy that has a catch in 145 straight CFL games, which is, I believe, the third or fourth longest streak in CFL history. He's been a guy that's just kind of an Iron Man out there, and a guy that has always been a solid contributor in the CFL. Obviously, he was a great receiver years ago with the BC Lions, one of the best receivers in the CFL, and has around 10,000, I believe, receiving yards in the CFL. So congratulations to him with that incredible streak of catching a pass in every single game. And for Winnipeg, I'm going with another wide receiver, and that's Nick Dembski, who needs, I think, only 50 yards or so to get his first career 1,000-yard season. So hoping he can do that in this game, and I think it's a very high likelihood that he does that in this game. But as for my pick for this game, ultimately I think Winnipeg is the better team between these two teams, and I'm going to take them to win 38-24 in this matchup, especially if they have anything to play for if the result goes BC's way on Friday night. So I think at the end of the day, Winnipeg is going to be playing to win in this game, and they're going to win this game 38-24 at home. But with that said, that is just your preview for Week 20 of the 2023 CFL season. Be sure to let me know your picks down below. And with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.